Hey, we have former Chief Samuel Dixon. Give your regards to your wife, Chief Dixon. He was a heck of a fire chief.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam Dixon. He was like Ray Barton, straight, knew what he was doing. I'm giving the flowers, Chief. I'm giving you flowers while you can hear it. Speak kind words to you while you can hear them.
Oh, I thought she said shit. You don't need, you don't need that close to that. That good? You don't need that close to that.
I do, because this is.
Let me hear you.
Good morning, Sister Dolores, and thank you for the introduction. Before we get started, we'll bow our heads in a word of prayer. Our Father God, we do thank you for this new day that you have made. You have commanded. Is something going on? Thank you for a new day that you've made, Lord. We'll rejoice and be glad in it. Uh, we're just on the air to our Facebook friends and to our radio audience. We're just a little amazed of what's been happening all this week, and I have with my guests.
Are we still praying, or is that?
Well, I prayed what I prayed, but I was disrupted by, the enemy always try to disrupt your prayer. But a prayer is I said amen. Whatever was in my heart, that is so. But anyway, we have Arthur Woodson here on today, and Art and I. Good morning, Art. We've been covering the canvas, aboard the canvas.
Yes,
you went 3 days, 4 days. I went 2 days, and some major issues happened there. And also, we're going to make sure we talk about what happened on Thursday. The firing of the former Flint Fire Chief Raymond Barden, a 35-year-old veteran firefighter with the city of Flint. But Art, I'm gonna let you start out. Kind of bring the audience up on the board of canvassers, and give us, what happened.
The board of canvassers, precinct 55. They had issues with 2, 21, 40, 55, and 56. So they called Gloria Boone, who is the election director, called her and said, "Hey, we need for you to send in the emails of election night of what the issues were as far as the books not being balanced, right? The poll books." She said that she sent them in. They said we didn't receive them. So they said, well, when you bring in all the other paperwork, we need for you to bring the emails that you said you sent. She never brought those over. She never really even sent them. So after that, when they brought them over, Precinct 55 chairperson, she didn't have this name in the voting, the people who showed up to vote. She didn't have it in hers. But when Gloria Bloom sent the paperwork over, she had a name on this voting sheet of people who came in. So they was wondering, where did this name come from? Gloria Boone, I'm gonna say Gloria Boone, and they hired somebody, a contractor. They put the name in there.
Nate Moore.
They put the name in there, but they never told the chairperson that they just snatched like Yogi the Bear and put Yogi the Bear name down. The young lady, I'm gonna just say AK, she was so nervous, man. She was a
black young lady.
Black young lady, man. She was a nervous wreck, man. She was like, I'm not going to jail for anybody. So they referred it over to Layton because it's fraud. It's straight up fraud. And matter of fact, Mr. Layton asks, what statute did they violate? And the statute is Michigan Election Law Act 116 of 1954, MCL 168.932, prohibited conduct, violation as felony. An inspector of election, clerk, or other officer or person having custody of any record, election list of voters, affidavit, return, statement of votes, certificates, poll book, or any paper, document, or vote of any description, which pursuant to this act is directed to be made, filed, or preserved, shall not willfully destroy, mutilate, deface, falsify, or fraudulently remove or secrete any or all of those items in whole or in part, or fraudulently make any entry, erase, or alteration on any or all of those items, or permit any other person to do so. That is Michigan law.
That's a felony.
That's a felony. And Gloria Boone, this not her first time. Everybody always saying Gloria Boone did something in this election. Just that right there within itself should be able to, to say, hey, you know what? How many other names were added? This one just got caught.
All right. What about over, I think it was precinct 24, my community college, somebody voted from Nevada, had a driver's license from Nevada, so it's been said, have voted over there, while you had people whose driver's license from Flint, Michigan was expired, and they wouldn't allow them vote. And what happened to all those spoiled precincts? What, they put them in a canister and put a seal on them, and they don't kind of explain to our listening audience.
After they tabulate and get all the numbers, the precincts put a seal on it, and then they have to sign. Two people have to sign saying that they put the ballots in there and in the canister. Well, at precinct 55, they allowed somebody to vote that wasn't even registered throughout the state of Michigan. And the AK, she was still trying to figure out, how did this individual, how was they even able to even vote? And then on the list, you have two people with the same ballot number, 143. So a lot of people are not paying attention to what's going on. And my hat goes off to the board of canvassers, because they are really actually digging in and really looking and, seeing all these irregularities.
Yes.
I can't never get that out.
Yes.
But they are really, looking and making sure that, things are correct. The sad part is that if Mayor Weaver wanted to do a recount, if by them not signing the book saying who put the seal on, she can't recount that precinct.
Because the seal cannot be broken.
It can't be broken.
And also, like in, I think it was 55, if the board of canvassers just threw up their hands and they throw it, had put it in here, seal it.
Right.
That can't be. So we've got a lot of issues. And I want to let you know that the board of canvassers are made up of 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans.
Right.
And as you said, we were over there and you were over there, and they were digging, scratching their heads, find out what is wrong. And tell them about the board of canvassers. They are just really like a clerical.
Right. Their job is not to investigate. Their job is not, if they've seen something wrong, it's not for them to fix it. All they do is try to make sure that the poll books and the ballots matches up. They minstrel and clerical.
That's what the statute says.
That's what the statute says. So we can't go over there and say, hey, you all got to do this and do that, because they are only there to make sure that the numbers are correct. And I'm gonna tell you, Sharon Reeves, my hat goes off to her. She really be digging in, man. And she tells them, hey, it's not our job to try to fix it, because if we try to fix it, that's almost like fraud. What we have to do is call Gloria, who does not want to come over there and
did not come.
It's their job to come over and explain and let people know in the remarks what's going on and why was this unbalanced like it is. So like I said, 55 And that's what I can't understand. If you had fraud in that precinct, and Attorney Layton, I don't think he meant any harm by saying this. He said, it's something, a mechanism in place for Mayor Weaver to do if she contested is recount. Well, then guess what? It's fraud in that precinct. They didn't sealed it. So if she asks for a recount, she cannot reopen that precinct.
Well, all this, they have to send it to the State Board of Canvassers. And remember, they called the State Board of Canvassers, and their attorney from Lansing State was on the line. And he said he recommended that they send whatever that issue to the prosecutor's office, Layton's office. And Layton, as I understand, said, well, you need to put it in writing. Well, to the credit of the Flint branch of the NAACP, at our executive committee meeting emergency, and our president, we put down not only that, but other incidents alleged that we know of, we heard of to Layton, and it was a long litany. So Layton's plate is going to be full. And also, I do know that the FBI have been notified, the Department of Justice has been notified, the Department of Justice Criminal Division and Civil Rights have been notified of what happened in the election in the city of Flint. And I think somebody's probably gonna go to jail.
The only part that I hate is the fact that you have President Trump who keeps insisting that it was election fraud with no proof. And when you do have facts and proof, you're still afraid or, kind of skittish on even bringing the subject up because everybody going to either think that you're a sore loser or that you sound like President Trump. But here's the thing. What's different here is that you have facts. It's on video. I mean, we were recording what happened. So it's not like we're just saying and making just
making something up.
Making something
well,
up.
All right, because we got about 4 minutes on this subject. Then we're going to go to the other subject.
It's your show.
I know it's my show. It's been my show for 15 years. Absolutely right. It's the hottest show around. Listen, let me say this. Over at Haskell, and people think you be making this stuff up. What happened over at Haskell when the police was called in reference to voter intimidation?
Well,
I wasn't there, but a whole bunch of folk was there.
You had Mayor Neely go in after he even voted that evening, right before it was time for the voting in. He came in, and the lady said that she wasn't going to vote for him. He started going after her. So the supervisor told him to get out. So you have to be 100 feet away from the polling booth or the door. And he stood there, and she told him to move. He turns around and say, "Do you know who I am?" She said, "I don't care who you are. You got to stay outside the 150. So make a long story short, she called the police on him. And 3 cruisers came up. He left. He left before they got there. So the second time was when the guy was drunk, the poll worker was drunk, and they called the police, and 9 police cars, cruisers showed up. So it was 2 times that the police came, not 1. And Mayor Neely, just like he lied about his degree, he lied about this, he lied about a whole lot of different things, which the biggest one is the topic that you're getting ready to speak on now.
Well, let's talk about that. As you know, on Thursday, Neely fired the former fire chief Raymond Barton, who has been a stellar professional with the Flint Fire Department for 34 years. It would have been 35, but he retired and he stayed off a year, and Weaver asked him to come back, and Neely kept him because he was doing a stellar job, very professional. He got fired by Neely at the behest of the 352 Flint firefighters president.
Yeah.
he told Neely, and he put this on Channel 25.
Yes, he did.
To fire Ray Barton as the fire chief. And Neely did it. He fired Ray Barton as the Flint fire chief, all because Ray Barton would not tell a lie and be part of the cover-up of the Pulaski Street incident. Now I'm gonna let you go ahead, Art.
You know, the sad part is that when we came out, the first thing we said was that Mayor Neely said that this is political suicide if this gets out. Now, Ms. Cooper, previous attorney.
Now, who's Ms. Cooper?
Ms. Cooper is Lamar and Zaire Mitchell's mother. I got in touch with her and told her, I said, hey, I just got an anonymous phone call and they are trying to cover this up because Mayor Neely felt that it would be political suicide. So she had an attorney that's a strong supporter of Mayor Neely. He wouldn't even file a complaint to let people know that he was even suing the city. So I didn't speak to her anymore. This was like 2 weeks after her sons died. October the 5th, she got in touch with me and we went down to city council. We did a Zoom and we told everybody what was going on. And that's where we are right now. It's sad that Mayor Neely would lie and ask Chief Barton to lie. And Chief Barton told him, no, I'm not lying for you. And he fired him, man. That has to be one of the craziest things I ever saw. When did people are so bold because they know, no, just like Big Red said, nobody even got locked up for the water. So who do we think gonna get locked up for this? But we're gonna press the gas and we're gonna make sure that we get justice for Lamar and Zaire Mitchell.
And also justice for Chief Barton.
Yes, justice for Chief Barton.
And what, you know, he did a extraordinary interview, a 3-hour interview with ABC, all that. The national news have picked it up, and he literally started crying. You said twice. I saw one of them, but he cried twice about his love for the city of Flint and how he literally kind of put the city of Flint above his two boys.
Yeah.
This is Ray Barton. And he said he was called in the office on Thursday. Neely was there and some other folk, I imagine the city attorney, whoever was there, and asked him to resign. Chief Barton said, resign for what? I have not did anything. And kind of gave him, well, I've got to go a different direction. And the chief said, well, go whatever direction you want to go. And so subsequently, he fired him after 35 years of employment with the city of Flint.
And, you know, just like if you listen, you and I went through these 911 tapes, man.
Absolutely.
We dissected them, right? The two firefighters said that they was going down in the basement to cut the power. If they would have went down in the basement, they would have seen the dogs. So that's number one. That's how we know that they didn't do it. I went up in the house. Man, as soon as you walk through that door, the other bedroom, they keep on saying attached rooms.
Right.
It's not like what you think as far as a build out or whatever they call it when you add on.
Right.
It's not like an add on. It's a room inside of a room. And they said, Chief Barton said that they told them that they were searching under every nook and cranny and that they was on their hands and knees. And if you would have went past, as soon as you walk in the room, the door cuts off half of the wall. So he didn't even have a foot to even search. And 80% of Lamar was sitting outside, laying outside of that room. So if he's on his hands and knees, he would have felt Lamar. The other one was to the right. The air condition was still in the windows. So I asked Chief Barton, wouldn't the smoke be just like it was when they went in? He said the second crew that went in stood up. They was able to stand up and go in that room, and the door was shut. So they never went inside that room, man.
two white fire.
The two ones that gave all clear.
Yeah, white fire. Two white firefighters.
And see, I try not to say that.
Well, I do say.
I mean, I understand, but I want everybody to be involved, and I don't. The first thing they say, "Oh, y'all done turned it into a black and white issue." Okay, it is a black and white issue, but at the same time, I want to be inclusive with this. I want the whites to come out just as much as the blacks, because if your son, and let's have empathy, if your son, your daughter, your grandkids, if this was yours, well, how would you feel right now? You hear everybody saying, "Man, if something happened to my kids, I'm going to prison." Why shouldn't we be in we should be in an uproar right now, because even though it's not our kids, but it was two beautiful young boys, 9 and 12 years old, Lamar and Zaire, who was left in there, man.
Well, and Art, I was listening to Chief Barton, and he said those two firefighters were on their hands and knees. They checked in the bathtub,
yeah,
but they checked behind a toilet stool. I'm still trying to figure, this was in their report. This is what they reported. And Chief Barton said he did not fire them because they made a mistake.
But the mistake was a huge mistake. It was 2 lives.
Yeah, but he said he didn't fire them because of that. He fired them because they lied on the report.
Right.
They lied on the report, and the one firefighter that got fired said, "Well, I'm not going to change what I said, and so he fired him." Well, when he fired him, who brought him back? That was a question. Mayor Neely
directed. Mayor Neely, y'all listen. The question was, if Mayor Neely would lie about having a degree from Saginaw Valley State, whatever
University,
right? If he would lie about that, the little small things, we're seeing now that he will lie about big things. Mayor Neely lied. He wanted Chief Barton to lie about suspension without pay. Chief Barton said they took him in a room to try to change the facts of the report of what he was putting out. Come on, y'all. Listen, we need to protest. We need to ask Mayor Neely to not accept this second term. We need to make sure that he does not get in there. He has been lying for the past 3 years. He said something today on his radio show. He's the first to give people water credits with this $300.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't. Mayor Weaver had $40 million water credits to where you didn't have to pay. Some people had 2,000. Some people had 1,000 credits. He was not the first. Why do we continuously accept his lies, man?
Well, Art, let me say this, that Chief Barton also said that they wanted him to Neely wanted him to change his report. And this was profound to me what he said. He said you had 2 firefighters who lied and kept their jobs. I told the truth and was fired.
Man.
He repeated that 2 firefighters lied and kept their jobs while he told the truth and was fired.
It don't make sense. It doesn't. It makes sense because he's a politician and he's a liar. That's why it wasn't personal with me. Mayor Neely went after Dr. Green. He went after Jeremy Drummond. He went after Lieutenant Brantley. He went after Chief Barton. He went after W.T. Stevens. Mayor Neely does not like black people, man. And I'm going to just say it like that, man. Because every time you turn around, he's going after a black individual, a black person. And, he wouldn't go after Goyette. And Goyette still owes the city of Flint money. Lang did stuff, man, didn't even change the service lines. Anything white. Tim Herman, he spoke about the autism center. He's talking about unsavory landmarks and everything. Dink Sosa, he said, man, listen, he didn't have to sell Club 6ix9ine. He sold it because he said it's going to benefit the kids. So, yeah, let me participate in this. Mayor Neely trying to make Dink Sosa even look bad. Why? Why do you continuously, Mayor Neely, try to make the African American individual look bad, man?
Well, all right, he replaced Chief Barton with former Chief Theron Wiggins, who's been retired from the city of Flint about 20 years, 21 years.
Uh-huh.
And it's really concerning to me that you had individuals within the Flint Fire Department.
Kerry Edwards.
Deputy Chief Kerry Edwards.
He didn't promote her because she will not go along with the lie. She's not. And you know that she's a woman of integrity.
Yes.
She helped bring the Chief Barton and Kerry Edwards brought 42 firefighters in. They didn't put a name on a building. They put people inside that building, firefighters inside that building. And for him to try to go after them, if we would have had someone like Chief Barton working at the water department, we wouldn't be talking about a water crisis right now. They looked out for the people instead of looking out for their job.
And also, I want to make this clear. Those firefighters, those new fire rigs and ladders that we got, the city of Flint got, when the emergency manager had sold all our assets, those were done under the administration of Karen Weaver.
Correct.
Chief Barton and Deputy Chief Edwards, I mean, seemed like they were just consumed about making, they are, and they were, and they have Flint a better place. And we got, Flint didn't even have a ladder, with an aerial ladder.
Yeah, it's the biggest one.
It's the biggest one. And guess who got it? Chief Barton, under a Weaver administration. And those fire trucks were made in Michigan.
Yes, sir.
Chief Barton cared and cares about the city of Flint. He's a member of the Society of Black Minority Firefighters. Used to be a Society of African American Firefighters, but whatever, for years and years. And he and Deputy Chief Edwards got grants. You know, all the smoke detectors, y'all be thinking the city of Flint did them? Nope. That was Chief Barton and the Society of Minority Firefighters. Go ahead, Art.
You know, it's sad, man, is just sitting there watching Chief Barton speak yesterday.
It was.
You know, Mayor Neely has made so many people victims in this situation here. He could have been a hero by coming out saying, hey, you know what? They lied. We getting ready to fire him. He would have been a hero, and he could have gave himself a key to the city, since he liked to give out keys to the city. And then here's the biggest thing about it. Since he liked to give out keys to the city, why hasn't he given a key to the city to the firefighters who went in and attempted to save Lamar and Zaire? Why hasn't he spoke about that? He hasn't, man.
Well, and let me say this. I know you don't like saying race, but it was two black firefighters that went in. And one of the firefighters happened to be the son of the deputy chief, Kerry Edwards. Her son went in there with his life. In other words, their lives were in peril when them babies were in there alive. And had they been there, the original, what you said, 6 minutes?
17 minutes. They went in at 9:04. They gave it all clear at 9:11. The first Lamar was found laying in the doorway at 9:16, and they brought Zaire out at 9:17.
And them babies.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not black or white, but I mean, I'll be thinking about my grandbabies and yours and everybody, not only empathy, but sympathy.
Yes.
It's very shameful. And Flint has made the national news once again with the firing of former Flint Fire Chief Raymond Barton. We made the news
for fraud,
election fraud, and so on and so forth.
Made the news for service lines not being completed. Made the news for bid rigging with the police cars with Tim Herman. Made the news for everything, man, but the right thing. And then they say, man, you always talking about negative things. Well, give me something positive to talk about, and I will talk about something positive. But if you keep on doing negative things has to be brought up, man. So don't
opera fund. I know it's disappointing, Art. Them blue tarps, Mick, they're still on the house. And guess what they're gonna be? Still on the house.
It's sad, man, that people I can't fault the community because he lied to me and I was close to him. And just imagine, I mean, he talks real smooth, he stutters when he lies. And
Go ahead, Art.
And the thing here is, if I didn't know he lied, how can I expect somebody who's not following as close as I am? How can I expect them to know? We have to figure out a way of really getting information out, because sometimes people don't accept the message because of the messenger. And I totally understand.
Who told you that?
You told me that.
I told Woodson that if they reject the messenger, they're gonna reject the message.
Yeah.
You can't. If they reject the messenger, they're gonna reject the message. I don't care how truthful the message is. And so what about the Flint City Council, Art?
Eva Worthing needs to be locked up. I hate the fact that Miss Jasmine Stanley didn't press charges against Eva Worthing.
Oh, what happened? I missed something.
She hit Miss Stanley at the city council meeting.
She did?
Yeah, unwanted touching. And the sad part is Mayor Neely went overboard trying to get Dr. Green charged and arrested and locked up for something where Laura McIntyre touched Ms. Green and Ms. Green defended herself. Well, with this right here, nowhere in the media have you, now this is where I use black and white right here.
Okay.
The white woman said that the black woman touched her. Mayor Neely went after her. Had the police, and it takes a month for them to start investigating. Well, they had Dr. Green's done in 2 days. Jasmine Stanley, a black woman.
And tell them who Jasmine is.
Jasmine is Woodrow Stanley's daughter.
Former mayor Woodrow Stanley. That's his daughter. And I would hate to see if Woodrow was here and that happened.
And the sad part is the police officer was standing right there when he saw it. Am I lying, Mickey?
So he witnessed a misdemeanor or felony, whatever.
Yeah. Everybody witnessed it. So they brought it up for a vote for Eva to be put out the meeting. It's sad, man. Quincy Murphy and Liddell Lewis voted. And that's what's happening here. We in the African American community, we have gatekeepers, people power struck, people who allow others to manipulate them. Quincy Murphy, I like Quincy, but Quincy has allowed this position, this title, this power to overwhelm him, to make him change. Liddell Lewis lies just as much as Mayor Neely. Both of them are peas in a pod, man. She will sit there. Now, she got up and walked out as soon as the vote
for the
for,
black
for the investigation
for
for
those children.
Lamar and Zaire. She sat on council the other night and said that she was just trying to hold quorum, and she had to get up early in the morning, and she got up before the vote. No, you got up when it was time to vote. Don't sit here and lie when we can go back and look at the video and see what really actually happened.
Well, I understand that language is starting to uh, get together, or they're researching to do a recall on.
Well, I ain't got to research. If anybody from Ward 9,
and who was Ward 9?
Ward 9 is Eva Worthing. If anyone from that ward is willing to put in a petition, I have the language for you. It's clear and it's factual.
Ward 2?
Ward 2.
Who's that?
Well, that's Liddell Lewis. Ward 3 is Quincy Murphy. Those are the main three that I would love to see get recalled.
And unfortunately, like me, they changed my ward for 40 years and put me in the second ward, and you in the first ward.
They maneuvered, man.
But make your passion your plea again, you know.
But if someone, especially from the 9th ward, let's start off with Eva Worthing. Because she is the weakest link. She never comes to meetings. She always voting and never read anything. She just go by what someone says. She never have the facts. She never have anything correct. The language would be that they were absent from the special meeting that was called for investigation on the Lamar and Zaire Mitchell's house fire. That is clear and factual. And right here, y'all, one size fit all, because all of them missed that meeting. So all we have to do is change the name. We don't have to change the language. Once Eva Worthings get approved, we put in the other two. But let's go after Eva Worthing first. Let's get Eva Worthing. She is the weakest link. Goodbye. You remember that? The weakest link?
Yes, I did. And you know, it's my understanding that some philanthropists are willing to put money behind helping fix Flint.
Yeah.
They're willing to put money behind, whether it's a recall, investigation, hire attorneys to help fix Flint. Flint is a majority Black city, and Flint needs to be fixed.
Hey, you know, the sad part, Dumas, is that it's two things, right? People say that all I do is complain and fight and this and that, right? When Sheldon first started running in 2019, I went to Sheldon. I said, Sheldon, we need a Black Wall Street, Cloud Road. Let's change it to DDA. You got Miss Sims, Jolena Sims over in Mount Morris, right? And she gonna fix up her side. We fix up our side. We can bring Cloud Road back to where it used to be. He won't do that, because if we change it to DDA, we able to take money from the state MEDC and money from downtown and bring it up to the north side. When we start talking about that, let me show you something, right? When we start talking about Black Wall Street, Cloud Road, changing it to DDA, look how much money they started sending in on the north side. Mott just sent in $10 million to Burston, because we started talking about Cloud Road. If we start talking about it again, they're going to give more money to Burston. They feel like if they give it to Burston,
that suffice. You're right. That suffice for the north side.
That's north side. You know, that's the symbol. That's the landmark for the north side. So, hey, we sending money over on the north side. Then on top of that, I said, listen, the fire insurance for houses that burnt down, right, that needs demo, the insurance company pays that. People
absolutely
don't know, right? I said, you got W.T. Stevens and Reggie, which are minority companies. Land Bank won't give out any demos to the Black minorities because they can't get the contracts because the bond be so
So
high. So why not use the black minority companies for the fire insurance? We don't have to give up the properties to the land bank because we didn't already demoed. And then all we got to do is just keep the lot up and we can turn around and sell those.
Well, that's called thinking out of the box. You know, as you said, that something has to be done. And I like, and also Bert's got 1.1 million from the ARPA fund.
No, they got 11.5.
No, from the city of Flint.
I thought it was 11.
No,
it was one
way. I think the
my foundation gave them some money.
They gave 10 million,
and then we gave 1.1 million from the ARPA fund. But yet, tarps are on people's houses from the ARPA fund.
Right.
I mean, the streets look like war zones. The ARPA funds were meant for the resident. People need windows in their homes. Those little thin windows that when the wind blows, the air comes through their homes and things.
Right.
This is what the ARPA fund, the rescue, it's called rescue plan. Go ahead.
You know what? Here's the funny thing, right? It's not even funny. I'm tired of it. They send the money through all these big organizations, United Way, G-Card, Habitat for Humanity, and all these other different places where the roof would cost you like $3,000 to get it fixed. Habitat for Humanity turns around and charges you $6,000.
Right.
Instead of giving it to the organizations that's really actually doing the work, the foot soldiers, I'm talking about the people who really actually doing the work. They give it to these big organizations, and the big organizations come in and say, we need volunteers. They getting 6 figures, they getting paid, but they want us
to volunteer.
And I'm tired of that. And people got to understand, when we out here fighting, we're not fighting for us, we're fighting for you. And then they come in here, C3 Ventures. They came in, they said that they was coming in to bring 360 jobs. They got $5.6 million along with YWCA,
right?
And that money that came in for the water. It wasn't Mayor Weaver. It came through the state. It came through MEDC. It came through economic development under the Flint water crisis. Capitol Theater. They got over $34 million. Downtown got over $100 million from the state during the water crisis.
Of the water crisis money.
Correct.
And the 621 million, y'all still waiting on that, aren't you?
Oh.
And y'all still waiting on the 600. You didn't listen to the activists and because we don't know nothing. $621 million. You ain't gonna get nothing. A few folk gonna get $1,000. A few if they go through the paperwork.
Hey, but I gotta quit saying what's funny. Here's what's gonna be highly upsetting when they get that money. Guess what? It's a lien on it. Because
what do you mean it's a lien on
Medicaid, Medicare, and the third-party insurance, they're gonna take their money. They're gonna take their money, and then on top of that, you did not get a doctor's note. Just because you say that the water did this to you, raised your blood pressure, put rashes on you, if you don't have a doctor stating the fact that the water caused that or exacerbated your illness, you get nothing. Oh, matter of fact, guess what? You get something. $1,000 property damage. Guess what? The $1,000 is with the house, the address, not the individual. So what happens here, if you own the house, you're good. But if you rented the house in 2014, somebody rented that house in 2015, somebody rented it in 2016, everybody that lived in that house has to split that $1,000. So
for the house, for the property, the $1,000 for the house. Everybody's not gonna get $1,000 for the address.
The address.
If it was 100 people lived in there, y'all ain't gonna get but a penny each.
That's it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, and then check it out. That's before lawyer fees come out, which they got $200 million. They got $200 million.
All right.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad you know, and what you said. Let me tell you about Medicare, Medicaid, or your third party. Other words, they're saying if you get $1,000, you will have to reimburse
Yes.
those Medicare, Medicaid, and the third party insurance.
Correct.
So you know your little money gonna be ate up by just one of them. You know, every time you go to the doctor or you have a procedure done because of the water crisis, they say it's gone.
And guess what? Here's the messed up part, right? If Archer LLC deny your claim, right? You can put in a reconsideration. If they deny the reconsideration, it goes to one person. That's Miss Deborah Greenspan. And when she say no, that's no. It. That's final. That is final. But here's what messes it up all over the board, right? They are just now starting to do the claims. So don't nobody get a dime. Don't nobody get a dime until all these remedies have been exhausted. So until the last person that put in a claim go in front of Ms. Greenspan, you don't get a dime.
Well, all right. I know Mayor Weaver spoke out against the 621 and said it was horrible.
Right.
You know, it was terrible. Well, who spoke up for that cut deal like that?
Gretchen Whitmer and Mayor Neely. He said that it was the ceiling, it was the floor, not the ceiling. No, it was the ceiling because the biggest culprit that was involved in it was the state. The state was the one that was supposed to put up the majority of the money. You going at the small little fruit land and Viola, they're not going to pay all that money. Then I mean, it's not going to be like $300 million. And then see, a lot of people don't understand. Me and Mayor Weaver, we had our differences while she was in office. Mayor Weaver and I sat down, we talked. When they came out with that settlement, that's what made me and Mayor Weaver sit down and talk, right? And we understood each other. We was fighting for the same thing, but we was going about it different, and we didn't sit down. And my ego or my pride wouldn't allow me. I'm gonna take responsibility for that. But what we sat down for was the fact that they came out with that $642 million, and Mayor Weaver and myself felt like that was a slap in the face. We said, hey, you know what? If you and I can stand next to one another, the people in the city of Flint will see that, and we can bring serious attention to this settlement. We stood together, and they said Mayor Weaver only standing there to get more money, and Art got paid off. Guess what, y'all? August of 2020 was when they came out with it. And everybody who said that, y'all need to be apologizing to Mayor Weaver because she tried to warn you and bring attention to the fact that they were getting ready to do us in. And we allowed the lawyers from out of town to turn around and use the gatekeepers here in the city of Flint to go against one another. If you want to be rich, if you want to be a millionaire, come to Flint and they will help you fill your pockets while they sit back with blue tarps and broken windows in their house.
Well, so true. All right. Well, what can I say? One thing I said that we have to come together. And that's and I hear you. Go ahead, Art.
You know what, Mr. Dumas?
Go ahead.
I hate to hear that.
I know it.
Because I'm not sitting down with snakes, man.
Oh, no, definitely not.
And when we start getting at them, when we start exposing them, the first thing they say, oh, we need unity. We need one Flint. Who say that? We need one Flint. How can we have one Flint when you find the chief of the fire department because he will not lie? One Flint consists of me having to lie for you? Is that what you consider one Flint? What do you always say? We need same-minded. What do you say?
Like-minded.
Like-minded. What? Like-minded consists of me lying for you or like you? Me deceiving the people here in the city of Flint, is that like-minded? Me getting on my knees to kiss your butt or your ring, I wasn't gonna curse.
Oh, well, I had to, but look at you.
I wasn't gonna curse. Hey, is it curse or cuss?
I don't want you to cuss nor curse.
What you say? That's the hottest show up.
Yeah.
No, man, I wasn't gonna cuss, man.
They said emojis up on you, man.
Hey, what'd you say, man? I'll let it go, huh?
Yeah, man.
No, it's respect, man. When I'm
Thank you.
when I'm on somebody else's podcast or whatever, I have to be respectful. I have to be, like-minded, and I have to be, at the point where it's no panning. We call it panning. I'm not going to talk ill or anything like that, because I don't want to reel you in and have people saying you approve Arthur Woodson's behavior.
Well, I appreciate that.
So I don't do that. I'm on 810 Media Group. I'm on AC Dumas page, and I'm on my own. And, I have to be respectful for that.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. But we just want to, we don't want to give out misinformation, disinformation, lies.
Right.
All those things. The name of this show, and the Lord gave me this name of this show about 14. I've been on the air going on 15 years. The truth shall make you free. And we just want to disseminate the truth. And whether you know it, the truth hurts. The truth hurts. You don't believe it? I mean, I've been told about the truth, and you have to accept the truth.
Right.
The truth makes you better. And if you like or care for individuals, you tell them the truth. I've been telling Art to lay off that pork.
Nope.
And Art won't accept that pork make your blood pressure go up. He tell me no. Mickey said, lay off that pork. But what can I say?
I'm gonna tell you.
Are you gonna eat some pork today, Art?
I'm going to give me some pork chops, and I'm gonna fry them. All right. I don't. Hey,
Dr. Green be trying to eat healthy veggies and salads,
she do what she do. Hey, I'm gonna, while she got some salad and all that, I'm gonna add my pork chops to it. Hey, listen, y'all. My grandfather ate pig brains, eggs.
Yes, scrambled, yeah.
Made homebrew. Smoked, what is it? Pale Males, Power Miles.
Those strong cigarettes.
Yeah, with no filter.
No filter.
And he lived.
Lucky Stripes.
He was 96 years old. So he ate pork all his life. So I'm following in my grandfather's footsteps, and I'm going to eat pork.
All your life?
All my life.
All right, well, you heard that.
I don't eat chitlins. I don't eat chitlins.
Why not? Why not?
That's no. That's intestines, man. That's really nasty.
All right, well, listen, Facebook. We didn't start laughing, but we want to thank you for tuning in. I understand it's a group. It's out there, putting it out there for the Black agenda. A group to come together for the Black agenda. And I know y'all don't like to hear me say this, but Black folk, we need to make our own agenda.
I mean, but here's the thing. I know you got to go, but
I'm retired.
Here's the thing, right? Why do people tend to get mad because I say that we want a Black Wall Street? Don't nobody get mad about downtown.
No.
There's not one Black business downtown. Matter of fact, the only building that a Black person
and they're trying to take
that. You don't get mad about Jewtown. You don't get
Greektown.
mad about Greektown. You don't get mad about Chinatown, Korean, Arab, Mexican. Don't nobody get mad until they hear Black people saying
we want to come together.
We want to keep our money in our community. Black dollars last for 15 minutes in the Black community. In say Chinatown, it lasts for like 2 weeks. It recirculates.
It recycles itself amongst their people.
Their own. And you always hearing people saying blacks are lazy. They don't want to do for themselves or whatever the case may be. But when we get ready to start trying to do for ourselves, oh, y'all racist. Y'all want to y'all don't want to be inclusive. Y'all don't want to be this. Oh, guess what? The gatekeepers, the house Negroes, they only speak out that's in position in February. You're gonna hear all of them saying how Black
History Month.
Black History Month. They their masters allow them to speak once a year during the month of February. They able to say how black they are, but during the rest of the remainder of the year, their masters or their puppet masters will not allow them to say one thing about how black they are. Not one thing about doing something for the black community. Not one thing about helping the black community. Oh, my fault.
No, go ahead.
No,
No, I just wanted to say when you get, I wasn't cutting you off. You know, the Bible said, if a man doesn't take care of his own, he's worse than an infidel and have denied the faith. If you don't, I got to take care of my family before I go running taking care of your family.
Right.
I'm saying that about the black community. We have to take care of our own selves. And like you said, when we start saying that, people get shook. Well, we need to talk about the people's agenda. You take care of the people's agenda. I'm trying to get the black agenda.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to do.
We got so many Charles Barkley, LeBron James, and Shaquille O'Neal's running around here, man. That is pathetic, man. And once we get that personal, people have to understand you have business and you have pleasure. And the personal friendship that we have is cool. But when it comes down to the business part, I'm going to put you on Front Street if you're in that position that's blocking us from moving forward. It's nothing personal. You and I have seen differences before, but we still able to come together because it wasn't personal, it was political. We saw differences. Me and Mickey or whoever. If we see differences, it's okay, man. I might not, like you said, the truth hurt. A real friend tells you what you need to know, not what you want to hear.
Absolutely.
It hurts. I might not talk to you for about 2-3 weeks because you didn't told me the truth. But during those 2-3 weeks, I'm gonna re-examine myself and look and see what you said, was that the truth? And I'm gonna come back and call you and say, man, I hate you for saying it, but it was the truth.
Well, you know, my mom, bless her heart, parents, my dad, they would tell you the truth, and you be pouting for 2-3 weeks. And when they walk by you every time, and I still meant what I said. They care nothing about you pouting, and you go in there and wash them dishes, and you better not break one of them. You know, we didn't have nothing but the jelly jars. Y'all know we didn't have no china. We had
take the paper off.
Yeah, the jelly jars. You let that jelly jar. We had a bunch of them, peanut. You know, you let one of those jelly jars got broke. It was war up in that camp. And I got a knife at a gun show. They got guns. I'm using that. I got a little knife. The truth hurts. Yeah. And so we're going to start that. We're reaching out to people already who wants to be a part of it. We don't need no sellouts. No. We don't need you to run back and tell this person this our agenda. It don't matter to me.
Hey, when you said that, I started thinking about this. We don't need it. We don't need it. Hey, y'all, you know what I'm talking about, Mickey? Hey, man, that's what. Hey, I wish you was able to pull up stuff as soon as we say it. That would have been nice to go on 810 and start saying we don't need it.
Well, you know, even like
let's pay the bill.
Okay, look at Brother Jordan's thing here. We need a studio like this with everything, all the the bells and whistles. How come we can't come together? I learned something from President Obama when he ran first time. He didn't ask for one person to give $1 million. He asked for 1 million people to give $1 or $5. It's not a lot of people. It's not a few people giving a lot of money, but it's a lot of people giving a few dollars. You know, and I need support for my broadcast. Do you think AC gonna? I told y'all before. I meant what I said. I'm not gonna take out of my resources all the time, and you take out of yours. Mick taking out of his to deliver messages, and people won't send you $1.
Hey, you know
Now listen to it. The mailing address is P.O. Box 36, Flint, Michigan 48501. And you can make your checks payable to WFLT 1420. Not AC Dumas. P.O. Box 36, Flint, Michigan 48501. Send it to my attention, AC Dumas. But make your checks payable to WFLT 1420. You know I had to do that? Because folks think you stealing their money. They send a check to AC. Oh, he just, see, and we hold each other under suspicion all the time.
But you know what though, Mr. Dumas, it's I mean, just think about it though. We here in Flint, we have been abused and misused.
Yes.
And that's a sign of PTSD.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm serious. Trust has been broken, and it's hard to trust a
rebuild
person
trust
coming in here that you don't know, and you end up getting done like that again. And it's continuous. It's a serious cycle until we remove the gatekeepers, the ones that look like us, and put real people at the table that's there to benefit and speak up for us and represent us. Until we put those type of people at the table, we're going to continuously question everybody's motives until we have somebody like that. The first thing a lot of people was asking when people didn't know me, they was like, what do he want? What is it that he's shooting for? I don't want a single dollar, man, because I feel that it would go against what it is that I'm trying to do. People say, hey,
he done got bought off.
Yeah, that's it. So
that's exactly what they're gonna say. Oh,
I don't accept a dollar, man, from nobody. I scrape and take pennies to the store for gas to deliver water before I take money from an organization or a MOT or community foundation or anybody, because I don't want people to think that I'm bought and paid for. And I totally understand why people feel that way, because every time you turn around, there's somebody taking money, and once they start tasting it, it's like, oh, I can get more, and I'm getting ready to leave y'all behind. You better get yours because I got mine.
Well, we're out of time. I want to thank 810 News Media Group for covering us. You know, I ain't got to thank 1420 AM because I pay for it. You know, I never understood why y'all give awards to politicians who make $100,000 and all like that. You give them an award and they getting paid for doing what they do. Yeah. Y'all help me to make that. That's their job. And people talking about volunteerism. And that's why it's hard to get people to volunteer, because of those soldiers who have volunteered for years and years and years.
No recognition.
No, they won't even give them go to the dime store and get a certificate of appreciation.
Or a key to the city.
Or a key to the city. Nothing. So, you know, I've enjoyed this show today.
Thank you for bringing me on.
It is. I hope that you'll support this show. I see you got all your designer stuff on, and that's the designer. That's my thing. Yeah.
This is a gift, man. You know, I wear Michigan State sometimes.
Well, you got the wrong one, baby.
I know. No.
Don't wear
blue, baby.
Listen. Don't be wearing.
I got a game today.
Wait, who they play?
Illinois.
I didn't ask you, Mick. I asked him. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I tell you it was.
You're a Michigan man. I'm a Michigan man.
I'm a Michigan man.
He wear Michigan. I don't wear Michigan State stuff.
It was a gift, man.
I don't care. They would offend me if they send me a. You want to offend me? Send me a Michigan State sweatshirt or an Ohio State sweatshirt.
I'll burn that line.
Hey, now see, y'all different from me, right? Y'all different.
We are,
because Michigan is my team, but Michigan State is here in Michigan, so I go with all Michigan teams until they play U of M. And if neither one of them are in the championship or whatever, I go with a Big Ten team. But I will not go outside that Big Ten conference.
Listen,
man.
Mo Cleese played for State. He'll tell you, I couldn't ride with him long as he was on State. I didn't become a fan again until he went to the Pistons.
But see, that's what I'm saying, right?
And that's my sister.
But what I'm saying, so that lets
family.
You know what that tells me? That I mean, that's going back to politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why Flint can't move forward, and not saying y'all, right? Not saying y'all. If I didn't support you and I didn't vote for you,
I'm gonna do like my daddy did. He take out his glasses and look at you. I'm taking out my glasses.
I'm getting ready to show you. Right?
This is the point.
No, seriously. If I didn't support you or I didn't vote for you, I stay in campaign instead of governance. Prime example, Mayor Neely, when he got in office, W.T. Stevens, they out here changing service lines right now.
Absolutely.
For 3 years, he didn't change service lines or road restoration because W.T. Stevens supported Mayor Weaver. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with U of M. I don't go against U of M, but if the Michigan team is playing somebody else, I can root for Michigan State. I can root for Central Michigan. I can root for these people.
You know, bad example. Bad example. That was a bad example. Go blue, go blue.
Example. And I'm getting ready to go play cornhole and eat up everybody's food.
What's that?
It's like horseshoes.
Oh, where you gonna play horseshoes?
No, I'm pitching cornhole. Cornhole is the little box, man. They got a hole in the middle of it.
Okay.
With a little sandbag.
Oh yeah, okay. Where you gonna do that?
They just text me. I gotta see where it's at.
Yeah,
but
okay.
They like to tailgate and cook, and they don't like to invite me, right?
Okay.
So,
do you blame them?
No.
Well, all right.
Well, check it out. No, they're gonna learn because you don't invite me, and I find out where you are. I go and I eat up all your food.
I hear you.
And they say, "Oh, you didn't bring nothing. Well, you didn't invite me."
All right. Well, we're gonna get off that. But you know what, Mick?
Yes, sir.
My mama would let me go. No, nowhere. She going up in junior high. Everybody going over. I said, Mama. She faced first thing. She said, "Were you invited?" I said, "No." Well, you ain't going. If they wanted you to go, they would have invited you. Well, and my mama told, as we close, my mama told her friends, whoever they were, if my babies are not welcome, then I ain't welcome. With that saying that, see y'all later. Go blue.
Go blue.
All right. But he confused. He got a little sports, whatever. He's a little confused. Yeah, he's a little confused. One day he Michigan State, the next day he's Central Michigan, next day. Yeah, the great divide. Anything divided. A divided house, what? She can't stand. That's why my house ain't gonna be divided.
That's why
I'll talk to y'all later. Yeah, you got